I typed. Yeah.
Now we are.
There we go.
Now we're hot.
Do you know what's funny? I thought you were live that whole time.
No, we weren't.
And L host. And
yeah,
I was gonna
L host.
And it's my fault. It's my fault because it's my fault because I didn't hit. When you hit go live, you have to hit it twice.
Yes.
So that's all me. The second part of it is I got upstairs and I had Fluent Jr. and Mrs. Fluent debating if Steph Curry and the Warriors were to beat LeBron James and the Lakers and go on to win a title, and Steph Curry was to be the finals MVP, would that automatically put Steph into the top 10? And I was just listening to them debating, and it was such a good debate that I was like, I lost track of time.
Yeah,
kind of got. That's a debate. That's a debate you get sucked into. Like,
yeah.
Wait a minute. Well, what did you think? Oh, wait a minute. I got somewhere to be. I got something to do.
And it's you know what? It's nice. It's nice for a minute to sit back and listen.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Well, what do you think about that, hon? What do you think about that?
All the perspectives.
Young fellow.
And it was reversed because I thought she was going to say no, he's not. And I thought he would say yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a Warriors fan and he's a Steph fan. And he's the one that said no.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the one who said yes. So I had to sit in and listen to that. That was crazy.
I mean, Will Fluent he's got a head on his shoulders. He sees facts for sure.
The ill thing about that logic, though, Tone, is that conversation is I really don't want to have it because I'm in the minority. Because on the one hand, you think to yourself, 5 league championships, 2 finals MVPs. He's a back-to-back league MVP. He's a 9-time All-Pro. I think this year he's going to be a 10-time All-Pro. No, he's going to be a 9-time All-Pro this year. Made the All-Star team, 9 years? So where's the separator now between him and the other guys in the top 10? Well, it can't just be championships. That's not enough, man. Because it's so much context that goes into winning championships.
Yeah.
There's so much context that it's not just, you won, you lost, that's the end of it. No.
Oh, wait, Jay, so you're saying all rings aren't equivalent?
I wish I could say that they were, man, but they're not.
That's what I said last week, and you guys both argued with me.
I wish I could say that they were, but they're not.
They're not because of the context. Because some people have a little bit easier ride, depending on the teams, the injuries, everything that plays into it, right?
So I gotta tell you something that's super funny. So I was sitting here, right? And let's go.
Hi.
Who's winning tonight?
Nice jersey.
Who's winning? Lakers.
No,
Lakers.
No.
How are you my son?
He knows, Fluent. He knows.
Good luck. Good luck today.
You taught me.
I taught you. Okay, good luck. I'm saying good. Hey, good luck. Which one? Long? Thank you, sir.
Alrighty.
Love that.
Well
done.
We have 3 different ones, so I got to ask him which one. So someone had posted and said, Will Chamberlain and the Philadelphia 76ers defeated the Boston Celtics and were the ones that put an end to that 8 in a row championship run. And it was the first time Bill Russell ever lost in the finals. And I said, whoa. You got part of it right.
Mm-hmm.
They did beat them, and they were the reason that 8 didn't turn into 9, but it was in the Eastern Conference Finals. It wasn't in the NBA Finals. It was Bob Pettit and at the time St. Louis Hawks who had beat Bill Russell, and that was his only loss. And that was right the year before the 8 in a row started. And so, of course, saying that, I was like, I went back and I looked. And it reminded me that, for Bill Russell to get to the finals, they only played 1 round. So they played 1 round, and then the next round 2 was the NBA final. And obviously it's because there was only 8 or 10 teams depending on the year.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
It was less difficult back then.
It was easier and harder because you play the tougher teams more often because there were more teams.
Right.
It was also easier because if you won 1 round, you were in the finals.
Right. It was a lesser road that you had to deal with. Right. You didn't have to go through all of that.
Get injured during the playoffs, right?
Right.
one round. Like, can I survive 2 rounds? Like, how many times have we seen teams have 2 great first rounds and then
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, well, do I give them half?
That's
not fair.
That's the thing about it. Like, that's why there's arguments on both sides for pretty much everything, because, you know, it can go either way. Here's my thinking with this whole Steph conversation. Obviously, like you guys like to say, his career is not finished. Why should we don't know what he's going to accomplish from here. Same with LeBron. I feel like it'll be a little bit less, but who knows? It's LeBron. My thinking is if Steph wins another ring, another finals MVP, I think there is a real conversation to put him above Magic. And if that's the case, you have him at 3, right? Fluent? You have Magic at 3.
No, I have Magic at 4.
Oh, 4. Then would you put Steph above that at any point? Like,
we had that conversation, and Tone was like, "Wait, we had this conversation on the panel."
Which means he would be a top 3 player all time, and people would want to do that because it's Steph Curry, and he shouldn't be what he is, but he is, and he's done it. So there's no, I think we're gonna have to get to that place, but maybe not yet.
You know what probably bothers a lot of people about Steph. And let me say, and first, let me go back and say, like, even when I look at my top 10, I know that it's Laker biased. And I'm like, I wonder if I should like tweak it a little, because I know, like, if it's close, right? You know, Magic and Bird, I'm going Magic, right? Like any Laker or Celtic, I'm giving you the. So that's one thing. The other thing is, what I think bothers a lot of people about Steph is this: when you look at the top 10, okay, so Jordan is 6'6", right? But freakishly athletic, right? 48-inch vertical. He was super fast. People don't realize how fast he was. His moves that he did, people always talk about, like, no wasted steps, right? Like, he was such a tactician with his footwork. So freak athlete, and he's 6'6", which isn't the norm. LeBron James, 6'8", 260, right? Can run, can jump, like a physical specimen. Kareem is 7'1". Magic is a 6'9" point guard. Wilt is a freak of nature. I'd tell you he doesn't even exist. Shaquille O'Neal is a 7'2", 300-pound behemoth who could run at his peak, could run up and down the court with anyone. Go through your whole list. Tim Duncan, 6'10". You can't relate to these guys. Steph is a 6'3" guard who can, barely dunk.
Who you'll run into in the grocery store, and you wouldn't even know him if you didn't know he played basketball. You wouldn't know who he was.
And that, I think, as much as people say, "Oh, I can beat Steph," and you see them out there shooting threes, no, you can't.
You can't do that.
No, you can't. And so I think it for some people it inspires them. For others, they're like, "No, he can't be that good because he's not a freak of nature."
Only except he is.
Him.
The crazy part is, I feel like that should give him an advantage, because he isn't that genetically.
I'm agreeing with you, but you know what I mean? It's like, like Jay and I, we're both bigger than Steph.
If I didn't play basketball, prime example when I think about Steph Curry is John Stockton, Tone. If you see John Stockton on the street, you'd walk right past him and not know who he was. I saw John Stockton. He had one of them, the hat that your father wears. He had that hat on. He had on one of them jackets that you find in like Marshalls or something, and he was getting in a minivan. And if you told him, "Yo, this is the starting point guard for the Western Conference champion Utah Jazz," you'd be like, "No way, this dude don't play basketball." He looks like he works in the post office. That's what he looks like. He looks like he works in the post office.
Come from the plumber and the postman,
right?
Because
this dude looks like he works in the post office. So when you look at Steph Curry again, if you didn't watch basketball and somebody told you, just so you know, that dude that's in line with the milk and the eggs, he's the greatest shooter that ever lived in NBA history, in basketball history. There's nobody who shoots the ball better than him. Shoots what ball? What are you talking about? Like, he plays basketball? Him? Yes, he plays basketball, and he's awesome. He's not good. He's incredible. This guy is. Yeah. But when I think about you and I had this discussion last week, H, when we talked about are all championships the same? Yeah. And I had this same conversation last year I was on a podcast with Shaq and Dell. Yeah. And we talked about all championships being the same. My initial thought was, well, maybe they are. But then I'm thinking to myself, 1987 is different than 1985 with Magic. That was different. And the reason why it was different is because that was the one that put Magic ahead of Bird.
Right.
Once he got that championship, now it was official. I'm better than this dude.
Yeah. James
winning it in 2016, that was different than when he won it in 2012. In Cleveland, that one was different.
Yeah.
And it was different than the one he won in 2020 with the Lakers. It was just different. So when I think about the best championships, they all aren't 100%. They all aren't the same. So when I think about Steph Curry, if he wins the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons, which he's never done, and been the league MVP, which he's never done. He's won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons, but never won it and been the finals MVP in back-to-back seasons. And a 5-time NBA champion. I really don't want to, but got to start having a different conversation about this dude. And I'm thinking to myself, is Steph Curry a top 10 player? Is he really? Can I put him over Kobe Bryant? No, I can't. I just can't do it. I can't. Can I put him over? I can't put him ahead of Kobe Bryant. I can't. And the reason why I can't is because when I think about, even though Kobe Bryant, real similar, where he didn't come into the game right from the beginning as that guy, once he became that guy, forget it. He was awesome. Same thing with Bird. Bird came into the game as that guy. Magic, I won't even have the discussion about Magic. I won't. I will not have the discussion about Magic.
Two questions. One, what podcast did you do with Dell and Shaq? Because I didn't see it. I'd love to watch that.
This was Player's Choice. This was last year. Not when I first started doing this, Tone. It was me, Shaq. It was me, Shaq, JD.
I miss Shaq being in
OG to Beast. It was all four of us.
I miss Shaq being on the camera. But shout out to Olympiacos.
I'll show it to you.
Buzzer beater the other day to win their game there in the playoffs out there in the EuroLeague. Question 2 is Kobe Bryant your moat? And what I mean by your moat,
might be, Tony. We had this discussion.
Your top 10, and Kobe Bryant's your moat, and it's like
he might be the security guard. Like he might be protecting my top 10. Somebody brought that to my attention.
There's a lot of guys who can't be top 10. I'm starting to think
he brought this to one of my boys brought this to my attention. SB, as a matter of fact, he brought this to my attention. And when I thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, I didn't even think about that. But since you brought that up, I might have to go with that. Because in order for me to put him ahead of him, that means he's a top 10 player, which means that Brian is a top 10 player.
Yeah. And,
but
Jay, yes, everybody in the comments, and then Hailey, I'll let you take it away. Yes, we all 100% have the game in the background. We're all watching.
Yeah, we're watching.
Right
this is a watch party right now.
Oh
yes,
yeah,
it is. 100%.
But Jay, tell me why. But then we'll get into other things. And I'm not saying I disagree with it, but why would you not have the conversation about Magic? Is it because of the physical aspects and the two, like he played defense as well, or why?
Number one, he was that guy right from the beginning. And the best if I don't give you the example I'm about to give you, the fact that he was the best player at his position, not just the best player at his position, right from the beginning, he was the best. He was that guy right from the beginning, all the way up until he retired. 100%. There was no question about whether or not Magic was the guy. He was the best point guard on the planet from the minute he walked in the door until he was ran out of the game.
And can I just say, because for the people that think he retired on the downside, he was MVP, runner up to the MVP. Those are his last 3 years in the league.
Just so you guys know, when he played the Bulls in 1991 in the NBA Finals, he was 31 years old. That's how old he was when they played the Bulls. 31 when he had to quit. So the reason why I'm having a difficult time having this conversation, H, is because I'm going to give you the example right here. So this is what I want you to do with Steph Curry. Steph Curry's been in the league for 13 years. Is that correct?
Oh, going into 14.
Okay, this is year 14. So I want you to take this year off the table. Right? I want you to take this year off the table, and I want you to just go with what we saw last year. They won the NBA championship. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, he didn't become elite until year 5.
Right.
That's when he made the All-NBA team for the second time. Anybody can make the All-NBA team once. When you start to make it multiple times, then you become elite, right? I want to say year 6, which was the year he won the league MVP, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say year 5 is when he became elite. Now, what I want you to do, H, is those 4 years in between that, when he wasn't elite, what I want you to do is I want you to take those 4 years, make him elite, those 4 years, right? So now we got 12 straight years of Steph Curry being elite, right? So we got 12 straight years of Steph Curry being elite. So last year, after they win the NBA championship, coming into this season, Steph Curry gets on television. He says, I got to quit.
Mm-hmm.
He tells us he's got to quit. He can't play no more. How many more years you think Steph got in him? If last year, if he retired, how many more years do you think Steph Curry, how many more elite seasons do you think Steph Curry got in him?
2 to 3.
Okay, so let's say 3. So we got 3 more years of Steph Curry that you're basically getting robbed at gunpoint. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to fast forward, because now that's it. You're not getting no more Steph Curry, H. You're not getting no more Steph Curry. So I want you to fast forward 30 years, and now we got a guy who shows up, who's good, but he's not elite until year 5. He has stretches where he's elite, but there's questions about other guards, even though they aren't as good. Like, I never felt like Damian Lillard was better than Steph Curry. Yeah. I never felt like Russell Westbrook was better than Steph Curry, but there's actually conversation about that because Russell Westbrook won the league MVP. Damian Lillard is a first-team all-league performer. So there's conversations that's going on about this, right? All of this stuff is going on, and now this guy, you've seen him play. You saw the other guy who revolutionized the game, bigger guard, unbelievable, and now this guy shows up, and he's not quite that, but he's becoming that. And now everybody's telling you, yo, he's better than him. Are you interested in having this conversation?
I am not now. I think by the time Steph retires, I think it should be had, and
now
I think
we
it will
can have
be
a
had.
conversation.
But I have to go. I'll start
coming
with
around.
this. I'll start with this. Sure, Jay, I agree with you. And Magic had a shorter career than Steph, obviously, because he had to quit a little bit earlier. Steph's going into year 14, probably has 2 to 3 more years of this level of play because he is smaller. I think he takes care of his body. I think that he can tack on. I think that he has one more championship in him, whether it's this season or next. I mean, when they have a healthy team, typically they'll make a good playoff run and possibly make the finals. But I don't think it even comes down to that. I will say that I think when it comes to elite, there's varying levels of elite. Sure, you might have a little bit longer stretch, and we don't know whose stretch is going to be longer by the end of Steph's career, right? Because how many years did Magic play in the league? 11, 12. So Steph is he's right now. I'd say Steph has what we're going to say 8 or 9. And then, right, because if we want to take out those like 4 or 5 years. So yeah, I think I agree with you right now. And that's why I said, like, I don't think he's there yet. But just how he's transformed the game in so many various ways. He's done it smaller. I think that is an advantage that Magic, I mean, he has, height and size on him, and Steph's done more with his body. So, and also I think he had less on his team than Magic did in some of those years. So like, when it comes to like talent, maybe, I don't know. But
and
I mean, do we
way,
really want to put, you won't even say that Draymond Green belongs in the Hall of Fame. You're really going to say that Steph had more? Come on. That's cool.
There's definitely 2 years where comparative,
I'll give you that.
In comparison to the rest of the league, they definitely had more for 2 of them. Sure.
Yeah.
The other 2. That's why I find the other 2, like last year's and that first one, way more
surprising
impressive than that. Not that the ones with KD. Oh, hello.
Uh-oh.
Hi.
We got a photo bomber in the house.
Twins.
You just jumping in? We got a photo bomber in the house. I'm trying to work over here. We got a photo bomber in the house.
But how is she? Is she older?
Well, yeah, 1 whole minute.
They're twins.
Yes.
I didn't know they were twins.
You didn't know
I was
that?
going to say, no, I had no idea.
We do it big in the Fluent household, 2 at a time.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah.
So that threw me off. I forgot what we were talking.
the best.
So not to say that the two with KD aren't impressive. They're still impressive.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you.
The two without are clearly, even more impressive.
Last year in particular.
Last year, I think last year, again, no excuse. Every single thing, every championship matters. I say that all the time. Now, we just established some, count more than others, but all of them count. So let's put that out there first. But that being said, the first one, people will say, everybody was hurt. It was basically LeBron and Deladova. Okay. Then you had KD those 2 years. Okay. Last year's, no one thought the Warriors. No one, even Warriors fans were like, that was an unexpected, and he played phenomenal. Curry. So I think that's goes to the point about some titles meaning more than others, right? So, it's like I said, once his career is done, we're gonna have a very, very tough conversation.
Yes, we are. And we can't and we can't discount. And I can't say this enough. I'll say this until I'm blue in the face. Tone, we got robbed 4 years. We got robbed.
We did, but
you can't go off what ifs, Jay.
Yes, we can. In this particular situation, the reason why we can. Here's why we can. In this particular situation, if you think about Len Bias, Len passed away, right? If you think about Grant Hill was hurt. Same thing with Derrick Rose. Same thing with
them higher because of what could have been.
Same thing with Kawhi Leonard. I'm glad you brought that up, Tone, because when I think about the greatest what ifs, you know who the greatest what if is? It's Magic.
I thought it was Kawhi.
I want you to think about that for a second. I think it's Magic.
Well, yes, because if Magic plays another 3 or 5 years, yes, he's probably in the GOAT. He's not injured. He's not injured. Right.
There's no reason why I should think, from what I've just seen, that he can't keep doing this. Well, there's no reason to think that.
Would you put Bird in that same class too? Because Bird way too early with his back injury.
Well, the difference with Bird is that Bird started breaking down, but Bird was still awesome. But then Bird, we actually saw the decline. Here's the difference, though. We saw the decline in Bird. Magic wasn't going the other way. Magic was still here. We saw Bird go this way, not only because of injury.
Injuries started to cause him to go drop.
Bird, when Bird retired, he was 35. It wasn't like Bird was 31.
His Magic shape, like physicality, he could have kept playing.
Well, no, I get what he's saying. Magic wasn't like injury prone. Magic was starting
31,
right? He
was 31
years
old.
So
he didn't turn 32 until August of that summer. That's when he turned 32 in the beginning of the season. When they played the Bulls in 91, he was 31 years old. That's it.
Listen, you know how I feel about Magic.
Yes.
You know how I feel about Magic. But I'm trying to be as impartial as I can right now. I can't do it for Magic because I won't do it for anyone else. I won't do it for Bird. I definitely, I tell you, Bill Walton shouldn't even be top 75. And I know that's because of injuries. That's why he never played a full season. Like, he's a part-time player. I think if you add up all of his games, he played 6 seasons. And I'm like, that's not a guy. I'm sorry. I don't do it for Grant Hill. I don't do it for Tracy McGrady. As great and as talented, as skilled and all those things as those guys were, I won't make the exception for them. How can I then, with a clear conscience, do that for Magic, who I desperately want to do it for, right? But I know that I can't because
he wasn't injured though, Tone. That's the difference. That's the difference though. Magic wasn't hurt. He got ran out because of what we didn't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't it wasn't like he was injured like Bird. With Bird, his back was screwed up. Bill Walton had bad feet. Magic didn't have any of these things. He had to quit. He was forced to quit because of what we knew at that time.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I think right now, Magic stays where he's at and probably will, but anything is possible to change. And it's good that we're having these conversations, and we're going to have another one later on today about LeBron and Steph. But but before we get into that, appreciate all of y'all being here, chat. And we did get some breaking news today from the Milwaukee Bucks that they did fire their head coach, Mike. So Jay, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this was, well, one, the right timing for all of this to go down? And two, do you think that was the right move for them? Who would they, who can they get that could be a better fit for them?
One of the things I found out in coaching, especially at the professional basketball ranks, you're not firing a guy unless you got another guy in the fold. So if this is a championship caliber unit, which I still think it is, they already have their guy in mind. And I don't know exactly who that guy is, but they already have their guy in mind. And
who do you
we're
think?
talking to, it's either Nick Nurse or Ty Lue. Yeah, I think it's either Nick Nurse or I wouldn't be surprised if they went after Ty Lue. I would not be surprised if they did that.
You might be right.
But with that being said, we're talking about a guy in Coach Bud who, when he coached Atlanta, coached them to a 60-win season. That was a damn good team that he was coached. That was a damn good team that he coached. When him being with the Bucks, just so you guys know, he has the highest winning percentage in Bucks history. They won almost 70% of their games. So if you coming off a coach like that, who Bud had a difficult time in adjusting. All right, Bud had a difficult time in game adjusting. A lot of the stuff that ended up happening with that unit was because Giannis was just so good, and he just turned Giannis loose, which is what good coaches do a lot of times. He turned guys loose. But he also did make some adjustments. I mean, he was the one who made the adjustment for Drew Holiday after they were down 2-0. He made the adjustment for Drew Holiday to pick up full court to slow down Chris Paul and to slow down that transition game.
Incorrect. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this. So before we started here today, I was listening to Milwaukee Bucks Insider. And we all already know that Coach Bud, game to game, series to series, doesn't make adjustments. That's his thing. He's like, this is the way we play offense, this is the way we play defense, and that's it.
Right.
The one time where he did make those types of adjustments and changes, it was actually the team that went to him and pushed for him to do that, and he didn't like it. So that was actually Drew Holiday going to him and saying, I need to do this, it'll help. And the other guys on the team saying, yeah, coach, let us try it. And so I was of the same mindset of you. I thought it was the other way around, and this Milwaukee Buck insider was like, no, absolutely not. The team went to him and forced him to do it.
He did have to agree to it, though. He did have to agree to it.
Agree to it.
And
but that's my thing with, and that's why when you say Nick Nurse, I'm like, I don't think that's the right hire, because he is very, very much the same way. It's, you do it my way, this is the way we play, and if you don't like it, you don't play. And I don't think they're going to, and one of the things that the Bucks front office didn't like about Coach Bud is his inflexibility, right? Him not wanting to change the way he does things, and him not kind of making those in-game adjustments, those series by series adjustments. Now, Nick Nurse, has 32 different defensive sets, so he might not have to do any adjustments because he already has every possible adjustment set. But I don't think that's the right coach for them. Ty Lue is the name that I keep hearing, which makes a lot of sense. He's very much a player's coach, played in the NBA. That is the difference between Bud, Nurse, and Lue. And you have a veteran team who's won an NBA championship, who has a lot of talent. So I don't know which is the right fit, but I would assume coaches would be running. Like, if you're a head coach, wouldn't you love Giannis?
Giannis, absolutely.
The best player in the game, whether you're arguably the best player in the game.
Yeah.
A good guy, you know what I mean? Like, just
good leader, good team.
Yeah, that'd be the kind of guy you'd be running to go to go. So I think they could have their pick of anyone they want. Like, there's gonna be coaches that have jobs. Just like Bud. Like, Bud was coaching Atlanta and he was like, oh, I can go coach Giannis? Peace. And he was out. So
now remember,
I wouldn't be surprised if someone we haven't thought of.
Now remember too, Tone, we talking about Coach Bud who's cut from the Greg Popovich tree, which is also my way or the highway. So in some instances that works. And I think that if they don't win the NBA, I think he was on a hot seat when they was in the NBA finals. I think he was on a hot seat back then. I don't think that his job was that secure. I think that when Giannis got hurt in those Eastern Conference finals, when both Middleton and Drew Holiday basically threw the team on their back and ended up winning those two, I think it was 2 games that they ended up winning. And I thought that they did a good job in getting them over the top because I feel like they saved Coach Bud's job. I kind of feel like he's been on the hot seat for as long as he's been there. I don't know what it is, but I feel like he's been on the hot seat.
Was he a big go away from getting fired a couple years ago?
I really feel like that.
The year they won the series, the playoff or the finals, right?
Right. I feel like he's always been on the hot seat, right? And that's largely due to him not being able to get out of his way. Not being able to get out of his way. And to your point, Tone, even if Drew Holiday, even if Giannis and these guys went to him and said, yo, I think I could pick up Chris Paul full court and slow their transition game down, he still has to go, all right, well, let me think about that, as opposed to we're not doing that. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. He still has to okay that. And in order for him to okay that, it's not like they're just twisting his arm. Coach, this is going to work. Well, a good coach will recognize that. All right, well, I guess this is going to work, so let's do that. And it did work.
I got another name for you. And for those that watch a lot of Milwaukee Bucks, they'll know that this is probably part of the reason the Bucks underachieved. Now, losing to the 8 seed is an understatement when I say underachieved. But if the Lakers don't win the NBA championship, what about Darvin Ham going back?
He's real familiar with them. He is. He's really familiar with them.
If he was there right now and Bud gets fired, it's an obvious.
He's the guy.
He's the guy.
He moves over one seat. No question about that.
So does he go back to where hey, you're comfortable?
I'm not ready to let Coach Ham go. I think he's good over there. I mean, this is one season.
I know. I agree. He might want to go though. He might be. You know what? There's a lot of pressure coaching LeBron and AD, and I don't know how. No offense to LeBron, but he's going to be 39, right? He's 39 years old. AD's already, I don't know, the whole lineup, like from the team I got to the team I ended with, hey, better, but a complete roster shakeup. Who knows what's going to happen in the offseason? Because a lot of them are, short-term deals, like we're turning people like crazy. Do I want to do that? Or do I want to go get with Giannis in the prime and, this team they're there. They're right there. They don't need the Bucks. This is what's so sad about them losing. They don't need anything. They're set up they don't need, it's not like you look at their roster and they need, what do they need? A coach.
A good
That's
coach.
all they need.
Yeah, a good coach. Because we got everything. You got long ball shooters, you got defenders, you got stoppers, you got arguably the best player on the planet in Giannis. So you got everything that you need. Everything. So And you got like good people. Like rarely Kevin Looney's on the floor, by the way. He's playing tonight. He's out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, Tone, like you were saying, he's got good people.
He's got good people too. Like you don't hear Giannis isn't getting in trouble. And if I'm wrong, I don't hear Drew get in trouble here.
No, drama free for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, just think about it. The biggest controversy you get from Giannis is a bad dad joke, which I'm guilty of, or him saying there's no such thing as failure. Right? Like, if that's the most controversial thing your superstar is saying,
you're good. Yeah.
Giannis just looked like a dude. He looked like a dude you want to be around. That's what he looks like.
He does. I think he just seems like he has the best spirit and he works so hard. Like, I hate the narratives they put out about him.
Yeah,
man.
he looks like a dude that want to be around. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I 100%. Do want to ask you guys too. I know it happened a few days ago, but it was also kind of a scapegoat thing, if you will. At least that's what JJ Redick called it. But Dillon Brooks is no longer going to be with the Grizzlies and will not be at any future time, according to what was put out. So, thoughts on Dillon? I know we've said a lot of bad things about him. Not bad, but we've seen a lot of issues that have come with him. But do you think this was the right move, both for the Grizzlies and for Dillon? And do you think he'll stay in the league, Fluent?
Oh, listen, we're so reactionary. When I say we, like the media,
everybody.
I guess we'll put ourselves into that category now.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, Dillon Brooks is an NBA player. He
100%.
He's 100% a solid, look, he's not a superstar in the NBA, and that's okay. That 90% of the players, 99% of the players in the league aren't superstars.
Yeah.
He is a 100% starter / coming off the bench early guys in the NBA. Is it not time for bed? All right, good night, buddy.
Love you.
Good night.
He is a solid role player, if nothing else, in the NBA. That's who he is. Solid defense, listen, you want a guy who's got a bit of an edge to him. You want players like that. Now, do we want him to pick on arguably one of, if not the greatest players of all time? No, that's probably that was probably a mistake. Hopefully, one that he's learned from. But to put that entire series loss on him when you had your best player doing what he did, when you had all your other players not showing up either. Like, there's no way you're saying everybody else played phenomenally and Dillon Brooks was one that threw that series. Like, that is such a lazy response to what happened in this series. And I get it. You got to blame someone. And I remember who I blame. I start at the top. I blame a general manager whose oldest player was 29-year-old Steven Adams. So there's no veteran leadership in that locker room. Then it's the coach, because when you don't have veteran leadership, it's the head coach that needs to be that father figure. He did not do that. Then you could start picking off the players one by one, and I'm probably Dillon Brooks number 2 or 3 on that players list. That puts me GM, head coach, jaw. Fine, Dillon 4th. Cool. Are you getting rid of the other 3?
No.
Heck no. They're way too talented or whatever with the GM and the coach. So I think what they did to Dillon Brooks is, look, he brought it on by himself, obviously a little bit.
Yeah.
That whole culture, right? That whole like dancing, we good in the West, all of that stuff. That wasn't Dillon. That was a team culture that they created.
Yeah.
So own it. I actually am okay with it. Own it. Don't try to put it on Dillon Brooks. I'm sorry.
Like, don't act like it's okay, and then like it's not with one specific.
It's okay. It's okay until it doesn't work, and now it's his fault.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Okay, so Tone puts out a press release, because I'm not on Fluent and Chill no more. Under no circumstances is Jay coming back. Okay, so when you hear under no circumstances, wait a minute. What the hell did Jay do?
Yeah.
What's the problem? Why under that means we're not even having a conversation. Under no circumstances am I getting on the microphone again with Jay. I'm out on him. Well, there has to be something else going on here. So it looks to me like Dillon Brooks wanted a contract extension. And the number that he was looking at was about $25 million a season. Now, with him looking at a number at $25 million a season, maybe Memphis didn't like that number. And because Memphis didn't like that number, the press release comes out. Under no circumstances is Dillon Brooks coming back. The problem is that it was just under no circumstances instead of, we don't like this number.
But do you think they said under no circumstances, or did Shams take
I saw that
on himself? Because I tend to listen. I tend to believe JJ Redick a little bit more than some others. Not always. Like, no one's right all the time. But on his podcast, he's more realistic than he is on that other show. But when he says, I don't like, did Shams? Did he? Because he's the one who said under any circumstances.
Can I go? I have thoughts on Shams.
Or Shams, whatever. Sorry,
dude. This is a thing, and I work in the media too. I get it. I get the pressure. I get that you have to do things that you're asked to do, or cover certain topics or put out certain wording based on what your employers want you to. But Shams is going downhill. Like, I like the guy a lot. I think he has good charisma. I think he's cool. But I've seen him over this last year, especially, start to like. He's trying to like adapt to be like the kids, or like to be cool, and like they're starting to push out these narratives and stuff. And like I just believe like he's good at what he does. Don't try to change it. And I do think that wording could have been something that it might not have been him. Like, I think his employers impact what he's doing.
I blame Kay Adams.
No, we're not. No, we love Kay. We love her.
She's got him all twisted.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
Who is Kay Adams? I'm sorry, I'm out the loop. Is that his chick?
She's like a fan.
Is that unofficially his chick? Or
she was on Good Morning Football.
He's making moves.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he failed, but he tried.
There was a very public courtship.
But even that's like weird. Like, why do we have to do that with everything? Why can't we just be people who talk about sports? I'm just getting really tired of the narrative, dude. Like, in general, these narratives, and I push them too. Like, I do, but I'm trying to watch it a little bit more.
You don't want to make it.
No, especially when that's like your role. Like you're painting these people. Like I don't even really like Dillon Brooks. I'm not trying to support him at any really at all because I just personally don't like him. But I respect him. I respect his game. He's a player. He's a person. And so why are we putting out this weird? Why don't we get a reasoning why you're leaving it up to people to make a bigger mind, make it a bigger issue than it is? But I guess that's just journalism now. If you want to spark debate versus spark facts.
He made it so hard for any team. He made it hard for Dillon Brooks, who, like I said, is a legit NBA player who should be in the NBA. Now people are talking oh, he's going to be on the Shanghai Sharks. Dude, if you think Dillon Brooks should be on the Shanghai Sharks,
run out, dude.
They do that with everybody. You're not watching basketball. I'm sorry. Am I honest? Keep me honest. Dillon Brooks should be in the NBA, correct? I'm not crazy when I say that.
Well, I tell you what, just so you guys know, and I know I ain't crazy when I say this. He's starting in Phoenix today. He's a start. They starting small forward in Phoenix, 100%.
Oh,
100%. He's starting.
They could use him. They could actually. 100%. That's a good space.
Well, yeah, he's starting for them.
He's not a rotation.
Go get him now. 10-day contract.
He's not a rotation player. He's starting in Phoenix today. 100%.
That would be a good place for him. That's actually
they need him. They need him 100%, today.
100%. He's starting in Phoenix. But when you twist words, because maybe it was under no circumstances, but it was under no circumstances. Are we interested in paying him this?
Yes.
But then we're gonna cut that off, and we're just gonna say under no circumstances is Dillon Brooks re-signing with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now it sounds like because of the way he played in the playoffs. And because of what happened to them in the playoffs, under no circumstances are the Memphis Grizzlies re-signing him. Basically saying, you're the reason why we suck. When in reality, that's not the case.
No.
That's not the case. Maybe it was under no circumstances. But I think the wording, I think that they cut off some of it to make it sound good. Well, I believe it's called clickbait.
What it is.
I believe it's clickbait.
Bad journalism.
Right. I believe it's clickbait. But I do believe that under no circumstances was in the conversation, but it probably was. We like Dillon Brooks still. We just don't like him at 25 million. And under no circumstances are we taking Dillon Brooks at 25 million.
And it's just I don't like him at 25 million either.
Yeah.
And I can definitely give it that 100%. But when I think about Dillon Brooks as a player, when I think about him just as a defender and teams who could use him. And I mentioned this I think I mentioned this yesterday. I like him in Phoenix. I like him in Dallas. I like him in New Orleans.
You know where I'd love to see him next year?
Don't say it. I think I know what you're going to say.
I know where you're going to. Yeah, with the Lakers. And the Lakers would do something like that too, wouldn't they?
Yes, they would do something like that.
The Lakers would do something like that too. They would absolutely.
Didn't they have?
Yes. They brought in Lance Stevenson. Patrick Beverly, they would do something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
They would absolutely do something like that. Hey, get Dillon Brooks over here. 2 years, 30 million.
Most of those players you hate playing against are players you would love to play with.
We want him on the crew. 100%. We want him on the crew. 100%.
But I like that Phoenix pick, Jay. We haven't talked about him a ton since the series started. And obviously they're going to be back in Phoenix, so we'll see what that looks like. But man, don't they feel like a much thinner team than they did last season or the last few seasons? They just don't feel like whole. The Suns, the Phoenix Suns.
Phoenix, yeah.
They feel so they just don't feel like enough for some reason. And maybe it's the time they played together with KD, or maybe it's
that's part of it.
What do you guys think?
That's 100% part of it. That's part of it. Them not being together. The logic that a guy as good as KD is, get a lot of people saying he's the best plug-in player in the game. Right. But the reason why it worked in Golden State, he was on the crew the whole season.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they got him at the trade deadline. It wasn't like they signed him as a free agent in March. He was on the crew the entire season. So they had time to gel. He gets on this Phoenix unit, coming off injury. He was out a month and a half, played 8 games. And now you guys think with Chris Paul aging the way he is, because he's not aging gracefully, I personally think he's out for the rest of the series with that groin injury.
I do too.
And now what you're going to do is you're going to throw KD on this group and go specifically from the eye test. Okay, Phoenix is winning it. Wait a minute. That's a complete disrespect to what? That's a complete disrespect to what Denver's been doing.
Dude, they're good.
Right, to what the Golden State Warriors have been doing, to what Boston has been doing. These crews that have been together for as long as they've been together and what they've built, and now you're just going to get this guy basically off the street. I mean, let's call it what it is, because he played 8 games. This is not the park where you just pick up a guy. Yo, you want to run? Come on. All right, we're going to run the table at the park. No, it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, it doesn't work.
And it bothered me that they had them as favorites. I was like, come on.
Have we not learned our lesson?
Yeah.
These teams that are really top heavy, how often do they win?
They don't.
Like
they don't.
People are going to remember, they'll say, "Oh, the Miami Heat." Well, the Miami Heat lost 2 of 4, and they didn't lose to top heavy teams. They lost to a Dallas team that had 1 superstar and a bunch of role players, old vets, etc. Right. They lost to a San Antonio team that had a very young and up-and-coming star, but Kawhi wasn't that guy yet, but was a well-rounded older team, right? Tim Duncan was 30-something. Ginobili was 30-something. Parker was... the Warriors, with even the exception of the 2, even with the KD years, they were still a well-rounded team. The Bucks, a well-rounded team, 1 superstar. The top-heavy teams rarely are the teams like, again, give me 10 examples, I'll give you 60 examples of where it didn't work.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm very surprised teams haven't, they still think that's the way to do it. Like I've said this before, I agree with what Jay said. KD fits into any system, no problem, boom. But the other guys need to learn to play around him. He doesn't need to figure out how to play around them. But wasn't Phoenix a better team, like well-rounded team before?
I felt like they were. I felt like they
not as much scoring, but those guys that they lost, I think, hurt them a lot. Can I just quickly say this old man is having a game?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
This old man is having a game. AD better step his game up. Or
Dude, did you see that call, that 4-point play call that was not a foul that they continued? Dude, you're just going to make Steph angry. It was a 4-point play.
Here's the thing, though, Tone. You knew this was coming. This isn't news with LeBron James. You're going to get a game like this out of him in the series.
Yeah, you'll get 1 or 2 every series.
Right.
Absolutely.
You'll get a game like this. What's not going to happen, however, don't think that this is something for the entire playoffs.
Oh, did you just see that shot?
That was money. Yes. I'm on top of my game tonight, H. Yes, I am.
That was he bait, like what?
Yeah, I'm still me and Tone had this conversation.
You like how they show you 28 feet? Like
yeah, I do.
I like
if
that.
Steph's
like
playing,
that
they're gonna do that. But these calls, man.
if he can have these games like in a time like obviously they're situational, but if he has a game like this and pulls out a win and now they're 2-0 going back to LA,
I still won't be worried. I'm worried when we go to LA and the calls are completely, because the Lakers already are they get the most foul calls because obviously they play in the paint. They have Austin Reeves, who always gets did you see that game where he had 17 foul? He got 17 in 1 quarter. It's crazy.
If you're aggressive, you're gonna get those
calls.
calls.
Please, the Warriors aren't aggressive. They just don't get calls, Fluent. Let's be real here.
3-point shooting.
Steph literally, his 50 piece, he had 5 threes. The rest were, or he had 3 threes.
Hey, that's a different series. Okay, moving on. What's the next?
I shouldn't even watch these games.
Ping pong.
Let's go.
Okay, so yes. Should we get into? I don't want to talk about that right now.
Right. You want to do the next topic, or do you want to knock off some of the super chats?
Let's do some super chats. Yeah.
You want to do some super chats? All right, let's do that. Oh, we got some new members. How about we do shout out some new members?
Nice.
Oh, Jordan Clayton, let's go.
What's up, brother?
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you, brother.
Kevin, too. Thank you so much. Glad to have you here.
Kev, what's up, brother? Welcome to the party.
Nice. Let's go. Let's go.
Everybody's jumping on. Everyone's jumping on. Here we go. Double P. Salute, Fluent, Chill, and Hailey. It was nice to see Bill and Will go at. It was nice to see Looney and AD go at it in game 1. 23 boards each. Yes, absolutely. Those 2 are a lot of fun to watch. But I think AD was. He's been tough. I don't know how he's doing tonight though, but yeah,
terrible. 2 points, 4 rebounds.
Yeah,
that's 2 points, 4 rebounds.
That's why I said he needs to step up right now.
And this kid is hurt.
He's fine. They're floppers. He's fine.
Did those 2 guys getting 23 boards? Did it remind you Did it remind you of an older school kind of big man game?
It did. It kind of gave me a Jabbar, Moses Malone kind of vibe. It did. Two guys with a lot of dirty work stuff going on. Yeah, two guys with a lot of.
I feel like today's game would benefit from coaches and teams allowing there to be some traditional big men.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's a fact.
Because there's and I'm not just bringing up this kid specifically, but I'm going to use him as the example.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said his name before, Zach Edey, right? Who is the starting center for Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Good Canadian kid. 7'4", can post up, soft hands, great footwork, really good defensively, block shots, gets rebounds, doesn't shoot threes. Because he doesn't shoot threes, they're talking about a late second round, maybe undrafted.
This is the best player in the country, by the way, Tom.
Yeah,
Numero uno.
Yeah, best player in the country.
100%.
Best player in the country, late second round, undrafted. Yeah. A 7'4" center with good soft hands, good footwork, can block shots and rebound. Like everything you want from a center.
That's the game we playing today,
scary,
Tom. That's the game we playing today, Tom.
No,
Jalen Brooks
are like tree trunks. He's
tough.
Sturdy, very sturdy.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wembanyama, his leg is Wembanyama's waist.
Same thing, like he's kind of put together. He's kind of put together like Yao Ming. That's how he put together.
Yeah, with longer arms. Not like
that's how he's put together, like Yao Ming.
Remember Yao Ming was like T-Rex?
Yeah. Like with the alligator arms. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that he's not like an automatic first rounder just blows my mind. But I think, man, with the amount of 3-point shots, 35, 36 a game.
Yeah.
I get that means sometimes longer rebounds. But hey, I got a 7'4" guy, who's got this long wingspan, who can catch those and an outlet to start off my fast break, who will deter those guys from coming inside, because he has those long arms and he can block those shots. And hey, yeah, go ahead, shoot those threes. I'll take that 35%. Like the fact that there's no place, but then you see AD, with 23 rebounds. You see Looney not scoring, but dominating the boards, and basically him and Steph carrying the Warriors past, honestly, a Kings team that was a better team for the entire season, getting them into the second round. And you're like, why aren't teams making room for guys like this? Because there was back in the day that they were picking guys like this over superstars, right? Like they were taking Sam Bowie over Jordan. They were taking Greg Oden over Kevin Durant only because we need a center. And now it's like, no, there's no centers are like running backs in the NFL.
Len Bias was the best player in the draft, and Cleveland still took Brad Daugherty. They still took him. And Brad Daugherty was a 5-man because that's how your unit was built back then. And Lenny was clearly the best player in the draft, but Cleveland still took Brad Daugherty 100%. Right?
Go ahead, Jay.
With that being said, when you got a big guy like him who's not very mobile, and because the game is the way the game is today, even though you do need a rim protector, you need a paint presence, you need a rebounder, we can go back to the Rudy Gobert logic. Well, he's a liability defensively. He's a guy who he can't stretch defenses because he can't play that far away from the basket. So that might be a problem. So we're living in a real different time now because, again, Tone, you're talking about the best player in the game and the best player in college being a late second-round pick, because the same thing happened with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson was the best point guard in the country. But because they're drafting on potential, which I think is nuts, they're drafting on potential, Jalen Brunson goes in the second round. First team All-American, best point guard in the country on a national championship Villanova team. Well, he's slow. He can't shoot it. When in reality, this dude, you should be building your unit around him. And you don't even know it.
Yeah. I just wonder if, especially with the league now, right, you get most of your credit from your offensive ability. For example, like Joel Embiid. Joel could, I think, be a lot better of a defender. I mean, just with his sheer size alone. But obviously, he's pretty aggressive offensively. But I think Looney, Looney gets no credit, but defensively, he's pretty good. His rebounding skills are great, and honestly, I think he has rods in his legs. He's working through. He was injured. His hip was injured. He went through several injuries, and now he's kind of finally coming into that place of like being in his prime, if you will, which Looney's a lot younger than you'd expect. But yeah, I think people need to take more notice of good defensive, solid, bigs. I think that a lot of teams would benefit from that instead of going for like the 7, 3 skinny Rudy Gobert, who, let's be honest, what does he really do? Let's be honest.
And let me just say, when you say Kevin Looney took him a few years, bigs always take more time.
Yeah.
Right. Like
very rarely are they right out the
3
gate.
years before you start to see what they're going to do
in shorter
bigs,
careers.
at least 5 years to kind of that's the way it is. It always has been. It's just, I don't know why. That's just the way it is. So
quick side note, Tony, and I know you're reading the super chats. I'm amazed at how night and day Anthony Davis could be. Like 1 minute he looks like Olajuwon, and then the next minute he looks like Felton Spencer. And I'm trying to make sense of what the story is with him. Like, can we get?
Did you ever watch Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both of you watched Seinfeld's? Awesome.
I did watch Seinfeld.
Do you remember that episode he's dating that girl? And like in certain lights, she's like, "Oh, she's beautiful," and then in other lights,
yeah.
That's Anthony Davis.
I don't really know what to do with this dude, man. Because like 1 minute I'm looking at him going, like, if we could get this from him on a consistent basis, they running the table. And then I see nights like this, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if they can win another game.
It's that motor narrative, which I hate, but it's like maybe he is tired. Maybe he just has to get like switched the dawn. Like,
here's the okay. So this is why the logic of him being gassed doesn't work, and the reason why that doesn't work is because this is why we, as ball players, and I never was able to make it to the NBA, but I trained with a lot of guys who played in the NBA, and I was really trying to get there. But this is why we do what we do in the summertime. This is why we play as much as they played. This is why they ran as much as they ran. For stuff like this right here. But there's no reason for me when we get to this point where I could go, all right, I'm gassed. I got everything that I need physically. I got it. I'll rest in the offseason. I'll get myself rest in the offseason. But right now is the time when all of that work that I put in the summer comes into play. And to watch Anthony Davis where he goes from this to this, it's incredible because I'm thinking to myself, how much they depend on you, man. How much they depend on you in order for you guys to win. There shouldn't be a question about your motor. That's why when I think about Olajuwon, I think about you, and I think about David Robinson, I think about Shaq. When I think about those guys, when the playoffs started, that switch that you guys talk about, there was no switch. They were already there. And with Anthony Davis, it shouldn't be a switch, and we need to get a middle ground. It shouldn't be either this or that. It should not be that.
I agree.
And I know, Tone, you a Laker guy, so I know it makes you nuts.
No, but I'm very realistic when it comes to Anthony Davis. He is the best player on this team right now.
100%.
But he doesn't play like it every single night, and that's the problem. Mm-hmm. So that's why he can't be the best player, if that makes sense. Right? He should be the best player every night. He's not the best player every night. And that's what drives you nuts. He's got all the skill, all the talent, all the everything, all the tools you need. When healthy, there shouldn't be a question who's the best player right now. And yet, here we are. 2 of 6, 4 points, 5 rebounds. That's in a game that matters. Right. It's not like it's a Wednesday in February, right? Like this is round 2, game 2 on the road with the and remember it was the same thing. Remember with the Grizzlies game, was it?
It was game 2. You think so?
Memphis, you could put a stranglehold on them, and people would be talking sweep, but instead he plays trash. Lakers lose, and now it's a series. Now they came out of that one, but I would say the Warriors are a lot more dangerous than the Memphis Grizzlies.
When you and me had that conversation, Tone, where I asked you, I said, Tone, do you think they should have even went back to Memphis? That series should have been over.
Should have been over. They never
should. We shouldn't even have to go back to Memphis. That series should have been over.
Okay. All right.
All right. Kendrick Star. Steph got 4 rings without another top 10 player. So he thinks no matter what,
top 10 all time.
Without another one, he's still top 10.
Steph got 4 rings.
Yeah, Wiggs, let's go.
I don't know what that means, Kendrick.
So basically, it means like
he got 4 rings because Magic had Kareem.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Jordan then got 6 without another top 10 player.
Right.
If you want to see that.
How many players in the top 10 had another top 10 player?
LeBron had
all the Laker players.
I guess
all
maybe
the Laker
maybe
players.
he's just comparing him to Magic. Maybe that's to Magic. Okay, because Magic had Kareem.
Yeah, Magic did.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
He also got Jabbar on the other side of who Jabbar was, and Magic put years on Jabbar's career. Don't make it sound like he got Jabbar.
What was he? 32, 33?
Right, and don't make it sound like he got Jabbar. Oscar got Jabbar. Oscar got Lou Alcindor. Magic got Jabbar. There's a difference. Those two dudes are completely different. Not the same.
How many MVPs over the age? What was the last one? Kareem won it in 79. He was 32, right?
In the 79-80 season.
Okay, so how many 33-plus-year-old MVP winners?
Jordan won it in 97 and in 98. I mean, Jordan won it in 96 and in 98. He was 35 when he did it. Malone won it in 99. He was 36. That's it.
That's it. So he did not get the best of Kareem, but yes, he still okay. He did have Kareem, and people keep wanting to do this, spin a narrative wherever I can find one. So
yeah, we've gotten off track. Angie, what's up? Hey fam, how y'all doing? Stockton said that during the Dream Team's run, he'd always talk to fans, and them not knowing who they're talking to is crazy.
I'm telling H, if you saw this dude on the street, if you didn't know anything about, you would walk right past this dude. If you saw him in the grocery store, if you didn't know anything about basketball, you wouldn't, it would be nothing to you. Like, that guy right there. I don't know if you know anything about basketball. Like, if you know Michael Jordan, I know Michael Jordan. The league that he plays in, that guy right there, he's arguably the best point guard in that league. Him? No way.
You're like, no.
Dude that just got out the minivan? Get the hell out. Yeah, him.
Did you guys see that interview with Micah Parsons? He was like interviewing some random kid on the street, and he was asking him like questions about the Cowboys, and the kid was like ripping the Cowboys apart. And because he's like, wait, are you Micah Parsons? Are you Micah? And Micah was like, no, it's not. I'm not. And a lot of people just like, you don't recognize people.
Well, football's different because with the helmets,
smaller.
they're less recognizable.
But John Stockton's one of those guys that you might just not know.
Stockton's a see with the tank top. And so 2 things. 1, have you liked the video yet? If not,
hello.
What the hell are you doing? 2, Stockton, I feel like the movie, and now there's a new one, a remake of it, because no one can have any original thoughts, so they just remake old movies and tell me that today's stuff is better than the old stuff. Then why you keep remaking the old stuff? But anyways, it was John Stockton, you think the muse for White Men Can't Jump? Because if he walked onto a court, any court,
and you saw him, you'd be like, no.
You'd be like, yeah, I'm playing against his team.
Yeah, no, not him. And then you start watching him, and you're like, oh, shit, this dude is good,
right? Like, he'd be wearing that silly hat,
right?
He'd probably be wearing like, what are those, like, those khaki shorts with creases in them,
with the high socks with the colors on them, and with some short shorts, and you're like, get the hell out of this dude. No. Like,
and then he would go out and smoke you.
Hey, what are we talking about?
Oh, that'd be so fun. See, if there was social media, before I put that. If there was social media back then, he would have been going out and doing that with this, like me.
Flipping the bike hat, flipping the bike hat up.
Smoking dudes.
Flipping the bike hat up.
Okay. Lose your cool. What are your top 10 non-bigs all time? Love the show.
Sorry.
What are your
I'm a big man guy. Sorry. I'm a big man. I'm a big man lover.
All time.
I'm a lover of the big man. So
we can just go.
We can just replace the bigs that are in our top 10.
I'll start. I'll go Jordan. You pick one.
Oh, I'm picking one. James.
Non-bigs, I guess I'd put KD up there if we're taking out the centers.
So wow.
Oh, are we doing it in order? Okay, Magic. I guess Magic then.
Okay, so we got Jordan, James, Magic, Kobe,
Bird,
Shaq. Oh wait,
big.
No big. So that takes out Bill. That takes out Tim. That takes out Olajuwon. I guess I'd put Steph in.
All right, Steph. Dr. J.
Doc. You already said Bryant. You said Jordan. Man.
KD?
Non-bigs. Jerry West.
Jerry West?
Nope, not Jerry West. Oscar Robertson, go ahead of Jerry West.
All right.
Okay.
Oscar Robertson.
Then Jerry. I think Jerry's good
you
too.
get Jerry. You get Jerry West. I was gonna pick Jerry West. I was hoping you get. Did we say Bird?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna say Tim Duncan because he's
a big.
He's
so
a
we
big.
Up to 8. Yes. So we up to 8 now.
I liked Big O. Yeah, you know what? Let's I'm gonna go with my guy Elgin Baylor.
Elgin Baylor.
There you go. That's 10. There you go. There's 10.
Okay.
Whew.
This game is just dude. They're not going to let the Warriors win. They're not going to do it.
You guys are up.
I know we're up, but have you seen they had to use their challenge because of the absolute BS calls? It's actually a joke. These are a joke. Nobody even touched Schroeder. Nobody even touched Schroeder.
AD's got you.
Because it's LeBron.
AD's got you. You're fine.
No. I don't like this. Is where the narrative thing comes in. Like Joel, I love Joel Embiid. I do, but let's be real. Who deserved that MVP? It was Jokic. We just all fell along with this narrative because of Joel. Am I right?
Here.
And I'm glad he won it. I love Joel, and I think he should have won it last year. But it's why are we making up? That's not sports. I guess it is. Okay.
Which I'm not going to do that because I got no problem. I want
to change the MVP. I've said this already. I want to change the MVP to just best player. Just who's the best player. Yeah. Regardless of anything, I don't care if your team is 0-82. Who's the best player?
Just get a criteria and keep it consistent. Yes. In pro football, it's the best player on the best team. In baseball, it's the best player. Period. In hockey, it's the best player.
Yeah. Why is
that's what it is. So period.
Yep. Okay. Reggie Reg, serious question this time. If LeBron wins his 5th chip, does the majority view him as GOAT worthy, or is it set in stone? P.S. Hailey still the bomb. Thank you, Reggie Reg. And I don't think. Yeah, this is a great. This goes into that one. Our topic. Depending, let's just say whoever wins this game goes on to win the finals, whether it's this series, whether it's Warriors or Lakers, and adding another ring to either Steph or LeBron's legacy, does it change their legacy at all?
So it's interesting. It's interesting because will the majority of people think LeBron is the GOAT if he wins another chip? The answer is no, because the people who think he's the GOAT will remain, and the people who don't think he's the GOAT will remain. What is changing, though, is time. And as time goes on, there's more and more people who've never seen Jordan play. And so they're going to look at Jordan the way I think of Wilt. There's no way he was that good. There's no way he was that good. I hear you what you're telling me, but there's no way he was that good. So there'll be more and more people, because there's more and more people being born who have never known the NBA, right? You think you have to be 20 years old to have never lived in a time with LeBron James.
Correct.
So there's more, there's more and more people who have never been in life without LeBron James.
Yeah.
So in 5-10 years from now, the majority of people will say it's LeBron. And Jordan, when you see those polls, Jordan will be number 2. And the funniest thing is, by that point, there'll be someone else. And that person will start to creep up, and people will start saying, well, is Fluent Jr., is he the GOAT?
Mm-hmm.
Is he the GOAT? And most people will still have LeBron. And then 20 more years will pass, and they'll be like, who's LeBron? There's no way he was that good. It's this kid. And then someone, that's how it's always happened. The fact that people think that's going to change. I saw some idiot. Sorry, I don't know him. I shouldn't say that. I saw a person on one of the other shows on this network on Player's Choice.
Oh, I know who it was.
The only reason we have debates is because of LeBron James. No, moron. We've always had debates. We've had debates since the first Olympiad in my home country. Okay? We've always had them. Now, they're more loud now. There's more exposure for them now. There's more places for people to put them out there. And so you're seeing them more now. But they're always happening. I even had a guy come to his defense and say, I'm 47 years old, and where I'm from, in LA, we never talked poorly about Bird. Jay, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's the Laker fans weren't talking poorly about Bird in the 80s?
Yes, the hell they were. That's a lie. Yes, they were.
Now,
you absolutely
that
were.
Person's circle of friends, maybe they didn't.
Right.
But we sure as hell did, because if you listen to LA radio, we were doing it. If you listen to radio in other places, you were. That's what fans of certain things do.
Right.
Is they rip
just
on
human nature.
The other teams. So we've always had these debates. But again, I've said this. Do you know that 20 years ago, do you know how many more people there are on the earth?
Right.
2 billion.
Right.
2 billion more people. So
have shown up.
Yeah. So you add 2 billion more people. You add the internet, because in 95, there was no internet.
Right.
So you add the internet. How old is Facebook? 15 years old, 10 years old?
And there's going to be something else in the next 10 years.
So that's going to be scary.
So AI. Right. So you add all these things. Of course, it seems like there's more debates going on because you can see them all.
That's what it is. It's the internet.
Before. They were always there. Trust me, we got into fights as kids.
Yeah.
Now in my neighborhood, it was who's the better hockey player, right? Is Lemieux or Gretzky, and people would maybe throw hands.
It gets serious.
I didn't like hockey. I was like, I don't care. Let's move on. But it's just like it's always going to be a thing, and it's always going to be cyclical. And at least I can admit it and say, I look at Wilton, I go, there's no way he was that good. He probably was. My kids don't realize Jordan was that good. There's no way he was that good. He was. The next generation say, there's no way LeBron was that good. Yeah, he was. That's the way it's going to work. So listen, you can accept it, or you can live in this denial where you think at 20 years old, you know everything and everybody else is stupid until you turn 40 and realize I knew nothing.
Zero.
There's my rant over. Go ahead.
Good rant. No, next super chat.
Oh, next super chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
My voice. For those that don't know, I've been knocked out all week. If you haven't, no one's missed me. No one said, "Hey, I haven't seen Fluent on the panel this week." Okay, shows you what people think of me.
Okay.
Maybe they were sick too.
Tell everybody that your right hand man over here has been checking on you. Can you?
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
But you're not people. You're like family. That's different.
Yeah.
Jay's been texting me every day. You good? You good? You alive?
Are you okay? What's going on, brother?
He needs his voice.
I was touch and go there for a minute, but
are you okay? Thank you. I don't even care about the show. Are you okay?
Yeah. Are you?
I appreciate you. Euro says he missed me, so thank you. I appreciate
Euro.
Yeah.
Okay. Double P. Magic has the best win percentage of all time. His team's won. End of discussion. All right.
Done.
Yeah, we're done. Moving on.
I think we're done.
Not today, Double P. Oh, that was it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said we were done.
Oh no. Okay, Sports PSP. Thoughts on Lamar's contract? I don't think we touched on that last week.
Lamar Jackson? Sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo. You know what? I give him a lot of respect for holding his ground. He stuck to his guns and said, "This is what I want." And although he probably didn't get all the money guaranteed as he wanted to, as much as he wanted to, but I think he did what he did. I think should be applauded. He stuck to his guns. He got what he wanted. He replaced his agent with his mom. Right, mom gets $7 million, which honestly she could have got it anyways. But like what he did was very I applaud him for what I applaud him. It's a good contract. If he stays healthy, it's well deserved. Like with any player, he has been injury prone. So as long as he stays healthy, they're putting some pieces around him there too. I think Baltimore's going to be, man. The AFC is looking like a friggin' minefield. Like if I'm a top-notch player, I want to get the hell out of there as fast as I can.
I don't want nothing to do with the AFC.
I saw them breaking down like the top 10, top 15 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and like one is from the NFC. Like it's nuts.
It's embarrassing. Yeah.
So
NFC's slacking.
Yeah, like is like and
just the AFC East and the AFC North in particular. Like you're looking at those two divisions.
The best quarterbacks in the league.
And the AFC West. All the quarterbacks is in the AFC West, they're in the AFC North and in the AFC East. That's what they're at.
Yep.
That's what they are. I got no problem with the Lamar Jackson contract. I think that a lot of people, and Tone, you touched on this when this happened with Deshaun Watson. A lot of people got wrapped up in Deshaun Watson's contract thinking that was now the standard. We're not realizing that, number one, the first year of his contract was only $1 million. That was it. He's only on the books for $1 million.
He knew he wasn't going to play much of it, but yes.
Right. So he was only on the books for $1 million. Now, they overpaid for him at $250 million. So now what he did was everybody thought that he set the market, when in reality, other teams were like, no, he did not. Yeah. And the Baltimore Ravens paid Lamar Jackson based on what he had done at that point. Now, we're talking about a guy in the last 6 years who won the league MVP, right? Won the league MVP, took his team to the playoffs, but he's also had 2 season-ending injuries. Yeah. And because he's had those 2 season-ending injuries, that's his game. So we're moving forward with this guy knowing that this could possibly be that. So there's no way I'm moving forward with him 6 years, $250 million, guaranteed, knowing at some point he's going to break down again because he's not going to be a traditional pocket passer. Right. He's not going to stand in the pocket and throw. That's not his game. That's not who he is. And because that's not who he is, he's going to be a runner, which means he's more prone to injury, which means he's not going to be on the field as much, which means that the contract that we signed him to is going to look really bad. That's why $185 million, I think that was fair. I don't think that was overboard, Tone. I don't think he was underpaid. I think that was fair.
That's why our viewership jumped. It's halftime. So 2 things. One thing that I forgot to say. So let me get back to. I'll get back to it. You're 100% right about the Deshaun Watson thing. People thinking it's at the market and it didn't. And I'll relate it to a basketball thing. When Rudy Gobert gets traded, right, for all of that he got traded for, and it was like, oh, well, that's the going rate now?
No, it's not.
No.
Everybody knew Minnesota screwed up and gave way too much. The rest of the league wasn't going to be like, well, if Rudy Gobert gets this, well, then I got to give 10 first rounds for KD in the lineup because that would be the equivalent. It's not. Like, everyone knew that was a mistake.
Yeah.
That's one. 2, something that we forgot. And I don't mean to go back to the beginning, but let me go back to the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The Haslams, who own the Cleveland Browns, have now bought the Milwaukee Bucks. And the one thing I know about the Cleveland Browns, 2 things, is they suck. They fire coaches quickly. Okay, those are the 2 things I know. And the third thing that I know for a fact is the Haslams are full of crap. So if I'm Giannis, 1, I understand why you're not signing the extension because you want to wait and see if they run this organization into the ground the way that they ran the Browns into the ground. 2, you're going to see what coach that they bring in because he might be wanting to make an exit. We might be seeing the end of the Milwaukee Bucks and their championship or bust run, which was very short-lived because the one thing I know about this organization, they're not quality people.
Did you mention they suck, Tone? I don't know if you said that part. I want to make sure I heard that correctly. Did you mention that they suck? Because that may be the case. And ownership is a big deal, Tone. Ownership is a big deal when you sign in players, especially great players, right? Especially great players. And if you want to keep your core together, the way you run in this unit matters. The way you run in this unit matters. And if you're running it poorly, I don't care where it is. There's a reason why the Clippers are the Clippers.
Let me ask you something. If Dan Gilbert had a better relationship with LeBron James, even though they were the number 1 seed and didn't make it to the finals the 2 years in a row, do you think he leaves his hometown?
I don't think he ever wanted to leave there, to be honest with you.
Exactly.
I don't.
Right. So if they had a better relationship and he was a better, we all know, and everyone's got their faults, but we know if they had a better relationship, they're like, hey, we're going to work we're going to get stronger, we're going to work together, da, 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 da. It's different. But because of that tension, he leaves. Look what it took for him to go back. And 4 years later, he's gone again. Right? I'm sorry. A lot of that is on the relationship with him and the owner. Wouldn't it have been nicer? Like, imagine what all those haters,
right,
my friend Ticket, what would he have said if he stays in Cleveland his whole career and wins 4, 5, 6 championships?
Right.
Completely different conversation.
Completely different. 100%. And he had to, and by the way, Tone, it wasn't an easy sell. He had to be talked back into going back to Cleveland. That wasn't a situation where, yo, let's go back home. Well, wait a minute. You know, it's 75 degrees in Miami in January.
The NBA had to rig the draft and give them 3 first overall picks. He
didn't just jump on a plane and go, all right, let's go back home. No. We had to talk him into that, rigging the NBA draft.
All right. Let's get to some more super chats before halftime comes back. All right.
Okay, Angie Carr. Personally, Mark Jackson been owned a second shot. I agree. I think they've done him dirty, but
yep, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yep.
Why? I'm trying to figure out why.
Political. They don't like
100%
morals.
100%.
It doesn't go with the agenda that they try to push.
100%. So. He got ran out for obvious reasons in Golden State. Yeah, he got ran out in obvious reasons. And because of that, he hasn't been able, that's the label that's now on him. Because there have been plenty of jobs that have opened up where I'm thinking,
does he want to coach again?
Yes, I do believe that. There was a part of me that didn't think that he still wanted to coach because he's so good on TV. But I do believe he wants to coach again. 100%, I believe that.
Because a lot of times you can make just as much money and there's no stress compared to coaching.
I think he would want like one more try, like one more attempt, though. You know.
Well, Tone, wait a minute, man. I gotta watch. I'm color commentating the team that was my team to win the NBA championship. Those are my guys. And I didn't get a chance to. I didn't get a chance to coach them to the NBA championship. Which, by the way, I was on the way to doing that. But now I got to call the game on the sideline. Let's go, Steph Curry. Let's go, Klay Thompson. When in reality. Hey, that's my team.
I know.
Did he commentate those first finals?
Yes.
Oh, that sucks.
He does it every season since too. It's like makes me sad a little because I do
my
like
crew.
I know. Right. Imagine feeling like that
is my crew.
Me. I know.
And having to stay don't get me wrong, having to stay professional, which he is. He's awesome. Yeah, but with that being said, there's a part of him looking at that crew going, "That's my team, and I could have done that."
Yeah.
So I'm going to say this one just because I feel like he said he missed me, and now I'm going to poke a hole here. So Euro, I like LeBron's career path, though not many players be able to say they won everywhere they went. He didn't win everywhere they went because there's Cleveland 1 and there's Cleveland 2. So it's still Cleveland, but you can't.
Story. Actually, I kind of agree with you on this one, Fluent, right? Because you didn't it's a different
and then
team.
He went to Miami and won, and then he went to Cleveland 2, very different. And won with Cleveland 2.
No, he won. He went back, even though he knew it could. He could have not won another one at Cleveland, but he went back to try.
Went back. Hold on, he went back, and while he was gone, do you know how many draft picks they had? Do you know?
In the 4 years that he was gone, they had the number 1 pick 3 years in a row. And Tone, don't make it sound like they were slam dunks. Okay, don't make it sound like they were slam dunks.
Anthony Bennett. Listen,
right? Okay, don't make it sound like they were slam dunks.
They tried as hard as they could to screw it up. But technically,
but with that being said, I mean, like if Josh Allen, next season, at the end of next season, Josh Allen leaves Buffalo and he goes to, I don't know, let's say he goes to Los Angeles and plays for the Chargers, and it comes back to Buffalo and they win it.
It counts.
He's won in Buffalo and he's won in Los Angeles.
Kind of.
No, to that franchise, would it? How would it make them? It wouldn't.
Oh matter. Yeah. The franchise, of course, the franchise will love him, but it's still like.
I don't know.
How about this? He's won everywhere he's been, he hasn't won in every stint that he's had with a team.
Okay, see now what you're doing, Tony. Now you're turning it
Small
into
print.
something extra. That's what you're doing. Okay, hold on. I gotta get my glasses so I can read the bottom of the contract.
Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah.
Let me read the bottom of the contract.
Oh, you better read it. Oh yeah,
Because this don't sound correct at all.
listen, you all know this. And
Well,
I'm
don't
not gonna
get
bore you
you,
with a
Jay.
long story, but you all know this. So back in the day, I used to long time. I used to sell cars, and I knew that. And on the back of the contract was all the fine print, and I knew it word for word. So if anyone ever tried to back out, it'd be like, as it says on section 7.374, and they'd be like, damn, don't mess around with me.
This.
Nice.
All right. Next.
Okay.
Fire.
FIFA boy, Lakers in 4.
Easy, brother.
Get out of here.
Easy.
Fire.
He's a Mavs fan.
I'm gonna leave that
Come
up.
on now, please.
I'm gonna leave that up.
Lakers in 4.
I'm leaving that up in for the rest of the show.
Not with Anthony Davis playing like that.
No.
Okay, double P. At the NFL draft, some rookies were asked this SBC, Kendrick, Drake, J.
Stop
Cole,
bench cut.
This. Yeah. Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole. The answers I saw made me lose respect for some of them. Eager to hear yours. That's a tough one actually, because I like all three a whole lot.
Not for me.
Really? You don't like J. Cole, huh?
Start Drake, bench Kendrick,
Yeah.
cut J. Cole.
I love J. Cole.
Are we talking about like popularity? Are we talking
Yeah,
about?
that's hard. Like lyrically, I would put them so much difference, but like
Lyrically,
I
yeah.
grew up with
Tone,
Drake,
this is what I want you
so
to do.
like I love Drake at the same time.
And H, you've been around music long enough. Who in the history of rap music, or just the history of music, who has been hot for a decade straight?
Drake. Oh, are you talking about those three?
For a decade straight,
Drake's not
Drake.
really rap, but yeah.
Drake has been at the top of
Yeah.
the Drake has been at the top of the league
always.
for a decade straight.
Yeah.
I'm not buying, because let me tell you what that start bench cut is. You're trying to tell me this is take accolades off the table. Who is just the best rapper? I'm not doing that. No.
Yeah,
I
you're
care
right.
about what you produced. And Drake is at the top of the league every year for a decade. Them other dudes can't say that.
Word.
Y'all can't.
So yeah, in that order, yeah, agreed. But in terms of my favorites, I can't even rank that. It's too tough. I like them all for different reasons. Fluent, you agree? Are you on board?
Listen, this is what I know. If I'm wrong, J. Cole plays for the Scarborough Shooting Stars, right, of the Canadian Basketball League.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he plays.
The Canadian Basketball League will be sending from the Scarborough Shooting Stars. We're working on a little deal with them to send us one or two of their players to our charity shoe drive on June the 17th here in Toronto. So J. Cole is a definite start. I hope you're watching. I hope you're listening. J. Cole is a start.
Yeah.
And of course, Drake, because it's Toronto's very own. So even though I don't believe anything that I'm saying right now, and so I'm
We need J. Cole. Tell him.
We need
Okay.
you, J. Cole. Come on, baby. I'll even give you a mic and let you do whatever you want to do. You can just go. There you go. Selfless promotion. I don't care.
Double P at the. We already read this.
Yeah, we just
Next
did that
one.
one. Yeah,
Oh, we
just
did.
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we just did that one.
Yeah. Angie Carr. Stockton has a stock photo type demeanor. That's actually
He
funny.
does 100%, 100%. Like ain't nothing extra about him. Nothing extra about him.
I know it's October's very own. I was changing it up to fit my narrative. Stockton, if you put in like, I hate to do this, but I'm allowed to. Typical white guy, his picture pops.
Yeah, that cookie cutter.
Average white man. It's a picture of John Stockton, and then he'll,
Yeah.
like I said, he'll take you on the court and destroy you, which I think is even more amazing. I think that's what adds to his like. Oh, that's a big one. I can't
Yeah.
bring your whole
Dorian.
face. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Dorian Clayton, thank you so much. A new member and the 20 piece. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
brother.
Okay. If each one of you were the GM of a new team, where would it be? Who would be the first 3 players that you're signing? What job would you get each other? And what team would you want to be your rivals? What team do you want? Oh, what coach do you want to hire? Okay.
Well,
all right. So we have to build a team, I guess.
So let's start. Let's start the logic with I live in South Florida. My blood has thinned out, so I'm not really interested. We could take the Canadian teams off. We could take not just the we could take all the teams from the Northeast off. And we could take Minnesota out. We could take Portland out. We could take Utah out. I'm not going up there. Same thing with the teams in the Northeast. We could take New York out. We could take Philly out. I'm not interested in that. Okay, so now that leaves teams in the South. Where would I want a team? Well, I'm feeling Texas. Why am I feeling Texas? Just like I'm feeling Florida. The weather is warm. Not only is the weather warm, there's no state tax. So because there's no state tax, that means there's more revenue. So who am I hiring as the general manager? I'm hiring as the general manager. See this dude right here with the microphone? That's my GM right there. Okay, he's gonna run my unit. So he'll tell you who we starting with the team. He's gonna tell you who we're starting the team with.
Okay. Who we signing?
First off, I'm going to ask my owner here to respectfully move our team to Vegas.
Okay.
Because it's warmer.
Oh, yeah.
Florida has enough teams. California, you know that's where it's going. Because I'd love Seattle, but he doesn't want to go up there, so we go to Seattle. And now I guess.
Hold on.
You don't want to go there.
I might make an exception with Seattle. Now that I think about it,
if you take us to Seattle, I'm okay with that too.
I might make an exception because the NBA absolutely needs to be back in Seattle. Yeah. I would make an exception with Seattle. Yes, I would.
All right, so we're in Seattle. So the first player I'm pulling over is already wearing green.
Jason Tatum.
No, hell no. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah. Bring him over.
He'd sign immediately.
We already talked about he's not signing that extension. The Haslams thing, we pull him right over. Do I get to just pick anybody in the league? Like this is phenomenal if I get to do that.
The contracts don't matter. Really? They want to come play for us. They want to come. Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. That makes it harder. I need to confer. Who do we want to go with our second?
So we got Giannis, right? So we got Giannis.
I want to,
So I need a distributor. I need a floor leader. Mm-hmm. Who am I going with? I don't like Luka with Giannis, so I'm not interested in that at all. No,
his name popped up, and then I said no.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Luka. Who do I want as another lead guard that's going to run with Giannis?
I know he's a little older, but I would really like to see him win. Do you think we could pull Dame up a little bit, up the Northwest a little bit?
You don't like Dame Giannis?
Well, the thing I'm thinking about with Dame is, how many more years we got at it? Dame will be 33 at the end of this year.
Well, but I have a plan. Yeah. What I'd like to do is bring Dame up, get him a well-deserved win, but I keep him in the Pacific Northwest.
Where you got a fan base. He's got a huge fan base up there.
And I'm going to bring in a young guard for him to mentor and groom.
He doesn't. I don't think he wants to do that. He's done that enough.
No, he's going to win now, and in 3 years, because he says,
eventually, okay,
in 3 years from now, and then we should bring in Dillon Brooks, right?
Absolutely.
No. Tone wants to get fired on day one. He's getting fired as a GM on day one.
Okay, so we need what else? Okay, so we got Dame and Giannis. What do we have to pick? Our top 3?
Yes.
Yeah, top 3.
I'm not picking. And again, Tone, you're the GM. You tell me what you're looking for. And the reason why I'm asking you this is because I'm writing the check and you're presenting this to me. Okay, Jermaine, this is what I like. We're gonna build our unit around.
I like my assistant GM's idea there of bringing somebody else who's been wearing green a lot, bringing in Tatum. So now I got an all-around forward. That's my front court of Giannis and Tatum. Come on. You guys don't like that?
I do like that, as a matter of fact.
I do. I think where I'm hesitant is the Dame part with those two. Just because, I guess Dame doesn't have to be. He can play off ball.
Yeah,
I'm just thinking older. Of Giannis.
He's gonna be more like a Chris Paul when he went to Phoenix.
And I'm also thinking about fit too,
Yeah.
Tone. I'm not just gonna throw guys on a unit and just throw stars together. I don't want to do that.
I like Giannis and Dame, or I like Giannis and Tatum. I don't know if I like the three together. But I think it could work. Okay, I do.
All right. My GM says it's gonna work, so all right. We're gonna get Dame. We're gonna get Jason Tatum.
I'm getting Dame on the cheap. So if it doesn't work,
We're gonna get Dame. We're gonna get Giannis, and we're gonna get Jason Tatum. That's who we starting the unit with because we got a vet, we got talent, and we got a young guy. All right, I can get with that.
In Seattle too. Beautiful
in Seattle.
Place, great market.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Feeling that.
Seattle back. Oh, Seattle back. Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, the GM that can convince Dame to leave is going to be legendary. I don't know if anyone can do that, but
good luck.
You can do it, Fluent.
I love
you can do it, Jay.
You know what? That was a good one too. But anyways, De'Aaron Fox might be another one too.
Dear, that would be if you're like building a somewhat like.
I was trying to. I tried just to be. I tried to be realistic with a couple of them because, like I said, contract extensions coming up for Giannis. Dame, you know, like it's anyone could say, oh, I want. I don't know who's De'Aaron Fox, Jokic, and Luka. Those guys aren't going anywhere. The Tatum was the only stretch, but I don't know if Boston loses, they could look to break up that team. So it might have to be Jaylen Brown instead of Tatum. I'm okay with that too. All right.
Angie Carr. False Fluent. The internet was definitely a thing in the mid-90s. Ask Steve Ballmer. He'll tell you Windows 95 was lit. Chill, y'all, was wild today.
It was wild today. Yes, we was.
The panel.
Yes, it got real spicy. Oh, it got real spicy today. Real spicy. Yes, it did.
I'll have to watch.
Yeah, it got real spicy today.
Should I take another day off tomorrow? I don't need to come and get the.
Nah. I think you're good, Tone.
Okay, yes, sir. Fluent, if LeBron wins a chip and Finals MVP this year at age 28, while being the lowest. Oh man, I'm so tired. I know. I'm tired. Wake up. Okay. Finals MVP this year at 38, while being the lowest seeded in NBA history to win. Would that stamp Bron over Jordan?
You already told us, Tone.
I think it has
to.
Say
Fluent. It, Tone. Say it.
It doesn't matter. It's not happening.
Before Ahmad already said this, Tone and I already had this conversation. Tell him, Tone.
It would be very difficult to make a case not to.
Yeah, it really,
And I'm so torn because I'm like, man, I want the Lakers to win, but at what cost? But then, and then I remember, and then I calm down and I go, but I'm not like everyone thinks that I'm not a Jordan fan. Like I grew up hating Jordan.
Yeah,
I hated Jordan, and then I just have him as the thing, and I'd rather. Like, I don't want to be right over the truth. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Correct me, make me more fluent. So I'm like, hey, if he does that, why would you deny him his greatness? Yeah, he's earned it. So yeah, hey, and if it happens at the added bonus of bringing the Lakers a championship and the added bonus of them having more than the Celtics, I'm all for it. For it.
That's true. You win or you lose either way.
I lose. I have to. I don't. And the beauty of it is, I don't have to change my mind. I can still say up until that point, I thought Jordan was the best, and then he did this, and it surpassed him. So I'm not wrong. I've new information. Changed my opinion.
Fair.
And like I said, and my Lakers get a championship. And we get one more ring over my hated Celtics. Like everything, it's a win-win for me. So yeah, sure, let's do it.
We'll take it.
Absolutely. Listen, just the same way that I was packing Aaron Rodgers' bags and taking them to New York. I am driving that limo.
Standing up for James, like, let's go, James. Let's go, James.
Rodgers will be sitting on the back, waving at everybody as we're driving down LA doing the parade. I'll be driving that car just for him too.
Let's go, James.
No problem. Now, not today because we're getting smoked, but yeah. Oh, geez, this is not a good game. All right, let's knock off the rest of these super chats. It got late. Hurry.
I know. Okay, Corbin Van Bergen. What's everyone's top 5 playoff performers all time? Win show as always. Thank you, Corbin.
Top 5 playoff performers of all time.
All time.
I think that's simple. Jordan, James,
Bird,
Magic,
Kareem,
Russell.
Jerry West was awesome. Bill Russell, but we only going with 5.
Well, there you go. There's 5.
Yeah, we're only going with 5. Yeah, Jordan, James, Bird, Magic. Russell averaged 20.
Butler.
Russell at
What's wrong?
She said Jimmy Butler.
And I said Jimmy Butler.
Hey.
I mean,
you laugh when you say it, but it's
I haven't
used this today, but
that's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
It's not, yo.
You're telling me.
I knew something was missing from the show. I forgot my buttons. That's how you know. That's how you know I'm sick when I'm not.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything.
Nothing. All right, let's go through because I'm gonna pass out in like 20 minutes.
Okay. 10-man. When Poole plays defense, I feel insulted. Me too, man. Me too. Me too.
Can we pause it for a second? Can we pause it for a second? Because I need to call something out that was egregious.
Yeah.
And I don't know why no one is talking about this. I hope I wasn't tricked, by the way, and it was a fake. Did I see Darvin Ham reach out his hand as Jordan Poole was taking that crazy 3-pointer?
He did.
Did I see that?
It was on Twitter.
Was it?
Yeah, so basically, it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. And it's one of those things where they're spinning it to make it look like he was trying to, like, defend Jordan. But in reality, I think he was just telling one of the guys to, like, guard him, like, keep your hands up. But he was right.
Was he on the court?
No, he wasn't. No.
He was like right on the edge, but Jordan was almost off the court.
Look, the thing that I saw, it looked like his foot was on the court.
No.
I just want to be clear. I'm going to go look at it again. But if that actually, like, all right, maybe that's why no one did anything about it. But if he was on the court and did that, like, that is ridiculous. Okay. But if you're telling me
he was on the court.
He was on the court?
He was on the court. Oh man. Yeah, his leg is on the court. That's crazy. You guys probably can't see it, but yeah, his leg.
Oh, it's 1 foot. Okay, but still,
but he wasn't meaning to. It just people were making it seem like
he wasn't Mike Tomlin tone. He wasn't Mike Tomlin. No, he wasn't doing that. No, that wasn't going on.
All right, then it's fine. But still, that's it's. I don't like that stuff.
Did you see an 80
thing? That's so shady.
No. I don't think Darvin Ham's that type of guy. Now I'm gonna. Okay. But yes, absolutely 10-man. Poole's defense is lacking. So, drink more water. Wes Edens is still the majority owner of the Bucks.
Is he?
Oh, okay. So then they have a chance. I thought the Haslams took over. Okay, that's good. You're lucky for Bucks fans.
Okay.
Angie, Dan Gilbert sucks. Should sell to Seattle.
There you go.
Jalen Carter, hold up, Fluent. LeBron with his abilities, career arc, political views, etc., with the combination of the advancement of technology, blew up sports debate bigger than it has ever been. All love, though. That's what he said. Isn't that what you said? The internet.
That's what it sounded like you said.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think he'd agree with you.
Yeah. Oh, he's agreeing with me. I guess. Well, no, he's saying all love, though, as if he wasn't agreeing with me.
I think he misunderstood.
LeBron with his abilities, career arc, political views, with the combination of the advancement of technology, blew up sports debates bigger than it ever was.
He's saying. Okay, so here's why.
This is the guy. This is him. I think that did that.
Here's why you need to be more. What? That's the guy who did what? Sorry.
I think he might have. I don't know, Jalen, if you've been on Player Stories, if you were the one that maybe said. I think it might be the guy that said. I don't know. I think he's agreeing with the guy that said LeBron. This is why LeBron brought the debate.
So this is why you need to become more fluent.
Yeah.
So to say that LeBron's career arc, are you suggesting that and we'll just use NBA players, other NBA players haven't had a bigger career arc? LeBron James, let's not forget, came into the league and didn't even make the playoffs his first 2 years. Magic Johnson was the Finals MVP in year 1.
Mm-hmm.
So please don't tell me he came onto the scene and like no one else has ever had. Wilt came onto the scene with much more hoopla than LeBron James.
Jabbar.
You want to talk about? Well, I was going to save Jabbar for this one. You want to talk about politics? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's go to another sport. Muhammad Ali. Much more political controversy at what they were doing at their time in life.
Right.
Bill Russell. Much more a better winner, more championships, and very outspoken activist for social justice. So no, the only difference that those other athletes and LeBron James had is, like I said, it's the technology and the amount of people on the earth. Okay, I just told you 20 years ago it's been 2 billion. So imagine if you're going back 60 years. Okay, it's more than that. Okay, the population isn't shrinking. So it's maybe 4 billion more people since Wilt and those guys. But the biggest difference is the internet. It's the technology that now everybody has. It's good and it's bad. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has an opinion. And everybody gets to hide behind their computers. That's why when we say, hey guys, you want to come up and talk with us and debate with us? We'll have 4 or 5 people come on.
They never do.
No. I said 4 or 5 people will come on. But then when I say something on TikTok and I say blah, 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 I get 10,000 comments from people saying, you're a moron. You should go jump in a river. Yeah, why? Because you're a little troll living in your mom's basement and you have nothing to fear because you're... And you guys think that's like, oh, no, dude. It's just that all you had was face-to-face on the radio, newspapers. And it wasn't like, you can't really debate in a newspaper. It's very difficult to be like, oh, see what he said? I'll get him tomorrow.
Right.
Like, okay. Right. It was really just radio. So the medium has changed the way that we get out the message. And it's so much faster. It's so, why do you think Twitter? What does everybody say about Twitter? It's hilarious. Why? Because it's so toxic.
It's so toxic.
But
it's actually
I don't have one.
It's getting bad, Jay.
Let me ask you this: if LeBron James didn't exist, would it still be huge?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
LeBron is like this much of Twitter.
That immediately takes out the point. Right? That immediately takes out that it's LeBron James.
Good point.
Because it's not. Now, he happens to be part of this North American debate that everyone seems to think is the world, because most people, no disrespect, in the US think that's the center of the universe. It is not.
Agreed.
Right? If you look at it, there's way more football fans. When I mean football, I mean soccer. And there's just as many debates about your favorite teams, favorite players, going on about that worldwide. So that's why, and again, just ask yourself, and if you really are naive enough to think if one person didn't exist, that wouldn't happen, then you're just naive and I can't do anything for you.
Dude, like, talk to your grandfathers or grandmothers. Like, my grandpa tells me about, like, Wilt and, like, all these guys that played whenever he was coming up, you know, and it's just, like, they had just as many opinions. They watched, I mean, it might not have been the same 4K quality we get, but it was like, you know, they did their thing and they had this discussions. And we're not the first of anything. That's what this generation wants to think, is that we're the first of like all these things and we're changing. No, bro, like everything's been done. Like, chill. We're not special.
We thought that too. But let me ask you, Jay, when you were in the barbershop in the 80s, were you guys debating players?
Absolutely. Talked about it all the time. Bird Bank better than Magic.
There's a great scene in, if you've probably seen Coming to America, with Eddie Murphy, and Arsenio Hall. And they're sitting in the barbershop and they're debating the greatest boxers. And they're like, oh, who's the greatest boxer? Oh, it's Sugar Ray. It's Muhammad Ali. And one guy's, it's Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano. You always got to bring up Rocky Marciano. Do you think they just made that up out of thin air, or do you think those are debates that were happening and they just put it into a movie?
Well, of course they were. That's where that comes from. Of course, that's where the logic comes from, and that's where and it just got expanded because the internet showed up. Because now more people get involved in it, and now it's more visual.
Yeah. So there you go. Now
you're more fluent.
That's right.
There you go.
Okay. Eminem got better numbers than Drake. Chill. Yeah, but it's that longevity we're talking about.
That
And,
wasn't
like,
what we was talking
top-
about, Double P. Chill out. We was
top
talking
of the
about
game.
3 different dudes. The three
Yeah,
different dudes we was talking about.
That wasn't even a
What?
question. Eminem
What
was
is what is the game's issue with Eminem? But anyways, we'll talk about that another
He
day.
what you call it? He was dropping an album. That's why he stepped the game. That was for publicity. He ain't want game was in the game when Eminem was in the game at his peak. Never heard a peep out of him about Eminem. Never heard him one time say, I'm better than Eminem. You know why he didn't say that? Because he wasn't. That's why.
No.
And now all of a sudden, I'm better than him. I've been better than him. How come you ain't never say that when you was actually around in your prime, when you was dropping albums and Eminem was dropping albums? The reason why you didn't say that is because you weren't better than him. Give me a break.
Facts. Reggie Reg, Fluent got you fired. Chill. No, Chill fired Fluent, I think.
I can't get the owner fired. And
what are you talking about?
Chill will give
you
me.
would fire the coach.
I gave Chill the 3. Listen,
Okay.
you guys don't understand how I run a business. That's the problem with young people nowadays.
Everything is right now.
I gave him a 3, a 5, and a 10-year plan. And I told him about the highs and lows in year 2, in year 6, in year 7. Trust me, we good because he knows we're going to have these peaks and valleys. I've already laid it out for him because at the end of the day, you know which other graph he looked at? The one over here where I showed him how much profits are going to grow because I brought these players in and we're going to raise tickets and concession prices and what percentage of the TV deal I got for him.
And they're gonna pay it, and they're gonna pay it too.
About business, baby. It's all about business.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got
it.
4 more minutes. So let's get through these.
Okay.
Dorian Clayton. This is why I asked you all these questions. I knew I'd get thought out logical answers. Love the pod. You guys are the best. Thanks, Dorian.
Thanks, brother. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Appreciate you. FIFA boy, Austin, Texas definitely needs an NBA team.
No, y'all don't.
Y'all
don't.
Yeah.
Y'all got
No,
2
you
teams.
need a better
3 teams in Texas. I'm sorry.
I love
3.
Austin.
Yeah.
Austin is dope. And Austin is a football town. Austin is not a basketball town.
Yeah.
And you got a basketball team.
Austin is a music town. But yes.
And you got a basketball team in Austin. The Texas, yeah, you got the Longhorns. Give me a break.
Texans have football in their blood, though.
Yeah.
Basketball in Texas is always
you got the Longhorns down there.
Oh yeah, Longhorns. Okay, Angie, what would happen when Seattle gets their team again, but can't use the Supersonics name because Clay Bennett owns the rights? Thoughts? Is that true? Like, there's no way they could request. Like,
that is true. Give us our name back. That's like the Knicks moving from New York, and then the Knicks, and then New York getting another team, and you calling them the New York Rockets or something.
I guess it's happened over all time though.
As long as no one else is using it, like when Charlotte went to New Orleans and they were the Hornets, and then Charlotte got a team, they couldn't become the Hornets because there was a New Orleans Hornets.
Right.
But once New Orleans became the Pelicans, they were able to become the Charlotte Hornets again.
Right.
No one's using Supersonics, so they'll have to pay, but Seattle gets its name back.
Yeah.
Let's go Seattle. We got to get pro basketball back up in Seattle. We have to.
Let's go. Dame deserves it. He should just go up there. Okay. Any early suggestions for Bucks coach? We did kind of cover it, but Jay, you can share who you had thought mentioned.
I thought that I thought Nick Nurse and Ty Lue would be really good candidates. Ty Lue is very much a player's coach. I think Nick Nurse, he has really good schemes. He's one of the better in-game adjustment coaches. And I think that would work well with Giannis, with Drew Holiday. He's one of the better defensive coaches. I think that would also work with Giannis and Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez. I think he'd be really good at schemes. So I like Nick Nurse, and I also like Ty Lue, considering how good Ty Lue is as, more than anything, a player's coach. And I think that's what they need.
Yeah.
I was gonna say all of those again. If the Lakers are knocked out early, don't be surprised if they don't go looking at Darvin Ham. And then I'm gonna say this, and I know it's not a name, but don't be surprised if it's someone you've never thought of. Like just
like Nick Nurse going to Toronto, kind of like Nick Nurse going to Toronto.
Yeah, he was promoted in Toronto, but yes, that's the thing where. Well, and the thing is with Nick Nurse, they were actually Masai wanted Bud. Milwaukee and Toronto were fighting back and forth to get him, and Milwaukee won, and then that's when they promoted Nick Nurse. So Toronto still might go, and I don't think it's the right move. Toronto might go for Bud now again, which I hope they don't, but there you go.
Okay, Angie, your generation was important. Y'all created fire.
Whose generation is
Which
that?
one, Angie? Who is
Would that
our?
be my? Would that be my
Okay,
generation?
y'all-
Generation. That would be
Yeah,
our generation.
definitely yours.
Okay.
Ours just
Your
made
generation didn't
things
create
burn down
anything.
with the fire.
Mhm.
Because I'm telling you, I flick on like Netflix or
Oh yeah, It's all
anything, and
garbage.
all I'm seeing is remakes of stuff.
Yes, there's no original thought, bro. But we
You
can
know,
switch things around, hopefully.
like Coming to America. You know they did that already, right? Like White Men Can't Jump. Like they did that already, like 30 years ago. Like the
Come up
Fresh
with
Prince of
something new.
Bel-Air remade. Yo, they did that already.
But the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is it's edgy. It's very different.
Right.
Very different.
It was different. It
Right.
was definitely different, but it wasn't like what call it something else then. Just make it, I don't know.
There's a series now called Fatal Attraction, which is like it's a series, but it's a lot like I feel like it's gonna be a
Seen
lot
that
like
already. Yeah,
movie.
seen that already. You did that already.
They're just making movies into series. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay, Jalen. Okay. He said it is me. I agree with most of what you're saying, but LeBron is still the most debated athlete in the USA for the past 20 years.
In the USA and not
And
for
that's
the
true.
past 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not true.
That is not true.
That's 1,000,000% opinion based.
That's false.
Show me one piece of data that proves LeBron James is the most debated athlete in the USA for the past 20 years.
Not only that,
football. There's more football fans in America too than there are by
football
far.
gets 10 times
Or
more
soccer.
viewership.
and plenty of people in America. I don't even know the Messi Ronaldo debate, but in America, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
It's or universal, but I think in America it's going to be like a Tom Brady or maybe I think there's just going to be more football discussion maybe like than there is NBA. It seems like when you're in the NBA space, it feels like everything is NBA because that's all we talk about in our daily lives. But like other people don't even know who LeBron James is, which is crazy to think of. Okay, we are pretty much.
I just got to say one thing. Double P, I did not get your KG. If you just send it right now in the regular chat, I will read it and before we go. So Double P, send me that. Angie Carr says, Happy May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
Thank you, Angie.
And since we won't see you tomorrow, happy Cinco de Mayo. All right, where's Double P? Double P.
Will you be taking shots of tequila, Fluent, or your stomach probably?
There was a moment there. I don't know if you saw me start to go like this.
You chill out, Tone. You ain't taking
done.
shots or nothing, okay? No, you're not, Tone. You chill out, right? Tone took one for the team.
Okay, while we're waiting for Double P's, can we talk about this one real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
Double P, send me your KG thing. What a moron.
He's in trouble, yo. He's in a lot of trouble.
Good.
Yes, he's in trouble.
4 counts. 4 counts.
Yes.
How jealous are you of your brother and you living in his shadow that you have to go be this kind of dude to get attention?
But the thing is, I won't say anything crazy because I want to be respectful, but like I didn't really know. He doesn't he didn't strike me as somebody like that. So I'm just there's a lot of questions I have about Jackson, but to like that obviously Patrick is paying for this situation. I'm guessing. I don't think Jackson works or goes to school or anything.
He doesn't
that's
care.
So sad.
He's the typical jealous sibling who is so pissed off that the world is giving his brother attention that he will do, and he'll act out. And it's so sad. It's so typical. It's so juvenile that from his stupid dancing on Sean Taylor's freaking memorial, which he should have been shot if you ask me for that, and all the other dumb stuff he did.
Which, by the way, Tone, before you go any further, whatever it is that you want to do, your brother will make that happen. So it's not like you're destitute.
He's like the nicest human.
If you want to go to school, he'll take care of that. If you want to start a business, he'll help you do that. There is nothing that you want to do that he won't help you do. But instead, you want to be him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not him. You don't want him. You don't have the talent, the skill, or clearly the mindset. Oh, I'm so sick. And even this is bothering me that we're having to talk about it because I don't want to talk about him. I didn't like him when he was dancing. I didn't like him, and no offense, his sister-in-law when they were making themselves the story. Like, Mahomes is the story. Let him be the story. He's the talented one. I'm so sick these untalented people's hanging off other people. Yes, Big Oxy should have been shot. Yes, absolutely. You heard what I said. It's America. There's 1.2 guns for every person. You know why? It's so you could shoot somebody.
But yeah.
Okay, yes, you know what I mean. I mean figuratively, not literally.
No, I know. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, with them,
maybe shot out of a cannon.
Yeah, shot out of a cannon. But I'm just saying, like, do you know how now Jackson or Patrick has to take time out of his day? Obviously, he has a busy schedule. Like, he's literally but he just went off a championship. He's the best quarterback in the league right now, and he has to take time to pick up his brother who is an adult. It's not like a child. He's not 18. I don't even think he's 21. He's an adult, and you're acting like this. That's this generation.
He's on pace. He's on pace to be the greatest quarterback ever.
He's the most talented that I've seen.
Like, he's the only one.
Yeah, I can't handle people. I just can't handle people. It's driving me crazy. Okay, is KG the best 1v1 power forward of all time?
And just to ask everybody, I'm heavily sedated. I've been very, very sick all week. So if I said something, that's why. If I said something you didn't like, that's why. If I said something you did like, you're welcome. Is KG the best 1v1 power forward of all time?
KG was a phenomenal one-on-one player. 100% he was. But I don't think he was the best one. I'm not sure he was the best.
How about this? Who's a better one-on-one power forward?
Kevin McHale was better than him one-on-one.
So McHale playing KG one-on-one. You got McHale in that?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, what about Karl Malone?
I'll take KG over Karl Malone.
Barkley.
KG.
You know what? I'm going to walk that back. I think KG is a better one-on-one player because he pushes guys out to the perimeter, and I think he's got a better handle than Kevin Garnett. He wasn't a better one-on-one player than Malone, though. No, he wasn't. He was not a better one-on-one player than Malone. Nope. Barkley, I'm not sure he was a better one-on-one player than Barkley neither. I'm not sure. No.
KD, I heard you say KD, but
he definitely wasn't a better one-on-one player. He definitely wasn't a better one-on-one player than Dirk. Definitely not.
Those were going to be my last two.
He definitely wasn't a better one-on-one player than Dirk. 100% about that.
Dirk and Duncan. Yeah.
Duncan was so methodical. Duncan was so basic, but I'm not sure he was a better one-on-one player than Duncan. He definitely wasn't a better one-on-one player than Dirk. No, 100% he was not. So no, he's not the best one-on-one power forward all time. No, he isn't.
All right. I'm gonna say he is. And then I'm gonna say
what's the number to 911? There's a domestic in San Francisco. I need to report on the Lakers.
What happened?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're down.
Okay, all right. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
They're down 30.
28. They're getting smoked right now.
I do.
Yeah. I want to go watch the fourth, and I know we don't want to go over too much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pass out, and I hope that I wake
Fluent needs sleep
in time for
I'm not gonna watch any more of this. I'm out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go start from the beginning and watch it, so I can actually.
Just so you guys know, this is what I saved you from.
Yeah.
Thank you for it.
I first asked Dub to fill in for me, and he has a Cinco de Mayo party. I guess he's starting for today. And then it was going to be J-Rob. I love J-Rob, but he would have worn some silly glasses or something, and you would have gone down a whole different path. And he never would have said Jackson Mahomes should have been shot. So you never would have got that soundbite.
No, you wouldn't.
So there you go.
No, we're fine. You seem like you're in a good place for it, but you need to sleep. All right, y'all, have a good rest of your night. Shout out to our GOAT members, Comatose, and have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday.
Take it light, but take it.
I gotta take more meds.